and welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano. Today we will learn about a fundraiser to help screen firefighters for cancer. First, though, as always, we take a look at the weather and the news for you. Currently in Quincy, it's overcast, foggy, a little drizzly, 50 degrees right now. A gray, damp day today with temperatures only in the low to mid 50s. Chance for showers really at any time today or tonight as well, with temperatures dipping down to about 50 degrees. Unsettled really is the weather word for all week for the most part. Tomorrow is very wet with rain, maybe some afternoon thunderstorms at a high around 66 degrees. Wednesday it'll start out cloudy. Some showers move in later in the day. It will be warmer on Wednesday, more humid too, with a high around 70 degrees. I think Thursday is about the best day of the week right now, and even that's not great. It'll start out kind of partly cloudy, but showers move in later in the day, and highs Thursday into the lower 70s. Looks like another cool, damp Friday coming up too, so keep the umbrella handy all week long. Again, cloudy, overcast, 50 degrees in Quincy right now. Checking out the news for you today, at least election season is heating up here in Quincy. City Clerk Nicole Crispo explains that nomination papers to run for City Council or school committee this year will be available in her office at City Hall starting tomorrow.
They do, of course, have to be a resident of Quincy, and they need 50 signatures to actually go on to the ballot, certified signatures. We give the nomination papers, we explain it, we give a packet with all the information for campaign finance, for having your papers notarized, filling out the candidacy, statement of candidacy before you go around and get your signatures so that people know what they're signing. It's very important. And you know, we're here, we're happy to help. Our election department runs reports and stats. And if you take a look at our election page, you'll find a lot of the information there that you need. Again, May 6th, which is next Tuesday, they'll be available 8:30 to 4:30. And then any day up until July 15th.
All the City Council seats are up for re-election to 2-year terms this year, plus 3 school committee seats are up for 4-year terms. Ward 3 Councilor Ian Kane is not running for re-election this year. All other councilors, except at-large Councilor Nina Liang, have told me they are running again. School committee member Doug Gutrow is not seeking re-election. Tina Cahill is. Emily Lebo has still not announced if she'll be seeking re-election this year. Mayor Thomas Koch is not up for re-election until 2027. Well, second-year Quincy College nursing students are in the final stretch of their associate degree program. To prepare them for real-world challenges, faculty recently led a multi-patient simulation on both the Quincy and Plymouth campuses. Students learned how to care for complex medical, surgical, fake patients under faculty supervision. They were evaluated on patient care, communication, delegation, and safety. A debriefing was held after the simulation to reflect on lessons learned and to identify areas for improvement. Quincy College commencement is coming up on May 19th at the Boston Marriott Hotel here in Quincy. Attorney General Andrea Campbell will be the commencement speaker this year. Construction will be getting underway soon on a new pocket park in Quincy Center dedicated to President John Quincy Adams. Quincy Mayor Thomas Koch says that a construction contract will be awarded soon.
It is coming along. We opened the bids this week for the contract that will be installing the pavement and the granite walls, and putting in, actually installing the statue and so forth. So that project, I tell you, I think it was just under $1 million for this portion of the contract, and $330 separated the number 1 and number 2 bidders.
Wow.
I mean, that's pretty remarkable. Yeah. So we're looking forward to, obviously, completion, but we're probably looking at the end of the summer. My goal was his birthday, July 11th, but I know we're not going to meet that, so we're looking now at the end of the summer.
The city purchased the Acapulco's Mexican restaurant and demolished the building to make room for the new park. A statue of President John Quincy Adams has already been completed and will be installed in the new park, which will also feature some benches, green space, and new lighting. The total cost of the new park is estimated at $6 million. Students at Fontbonne Academy in Milton recently performed community service work in memory of Pope Francis. The high schoolers spent a whole day during their recent spring break volunteering at Katie's Closet in Boston, which provides free clothing and necessities to children experiencing poverty. Michael Kenny says they cannot fulfill their mission without the help of the community.
Yeah, absolutely critical, because it allows us to get all of the goods to the students in need a lot faster. So when the groups come in, they're sorting through donations, picking out, the things that these students can wear with confidence, but getting to them in a timely basis is the most important thing for us. The in-school closet program is the staple. We also have the SOS, or emergency response system. So we work with vetted agencies throughout the state that will contact us. So these are families that are in transition. It could be things like a fire situation, it could be a domestic situation, but what we'll do is we'll get a request from them. We'll have the type of age of the child, and then we'll satisfy them with, we'll build packages that will last them up to 2 weeks worth of all the clothing and basic necessities that they need.
The Fontbonne students filled 150 bags with basic necessities and created handwritten notes of encouragement for the children. Fontbonne says the effort was a meaningful way to reflect on Pope Francis's call to serve the marginalized members of the community. Well, opening ceremonies will be held this evening at the Kennedy Center for the 41st Annual Quincy Senior Olympics. Each year, hundreds of people 55 and older compete in a variety of events, from pool, cornhole, volleyball, and darts, to pickleball, and swimming, bocce, golf, even some track and field events. Senior Olympics are designed to celebrate health, community, and spirited competition. Now, there will be a 1-mile walk for men and women tonight at 6 p.m., followed by the opening ceremonies at 6:45, then the celebrity exhibition volleyball game at 7:15 at the Kennedy Center with staff from the mayor's office. The games run through May 22nd, when closing ceremonies will be held at the Kennedy Center. It's our check of news for you today. Coming up, we get details about an upcoming fundraiser focusing on the cancer dangers faced by firefighters. That is next. Welcome back. Today on the program, we feature an organization called Firefighters versus Cancer and focus on a special fundraiser that's coming up this Saturday, actually, over at Milton High School. We want to welcome Mike Foley and Suzette Standring to tell us all about it. Thank you so much for coming over.
Thanks for inviting us.
Thanks for having us.
Suzette, great to meet you again, see you again. Quincy Toastmasters, right?
Yes, absolutely. Always great to be on your show.
And Mike, great to meet you for the first time. Hopefully not the last, though. Please
we'll be here
consider
again.
an open invitation.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting organization, Firefighters versus Cancer. So this is an organization founded to help firefighters and their families screen themselves for cancer, right, Mike?
Correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
How did this all get started? When did it get started? Why did it get started?
Well, it's 3 years old this past March, and it began a little family history I'll give you.
Yeah.
I'm a third-generation firefighter in my family. My son is a fourth generation.
Wow.
And my grandfather, father, and brother, who was on with me, all died of occupational cancer. And my son is a firefighter now, and the suggestion is there that he's vulnerable as well.
Sure, absolutely.
And that's why we decided to try to do something about it. And the key to the whole thing for us is early detection.
Yep.
Because early detection is the best way to guarantee a positive outcome.
I read a startling statistic from Firefighters versus Cancer's website information. Occupational cancer is the leading killer of North American firefighters, a full 40%. 40% of all firefighters working today will be diagnosed with occupational cancer at some point during their career. That floored me. 40%.
40%, yeah.
Why is that?
Well, the fires that they have these days, there's fewer of them than there were before.
Right.
But I guess the building materials that they're using, and I don't understand the chemistry of it all.
Yeah.
But I know that they're getting this through the carcinogens that have been added to different, like the gear that they wear. They added this carcinogen to keep the gear dry. And there's just so many different ways that they can get it now. But this is not a new problem. We've had the same issue for many, many years. And I've known literally hundreds of firefighters who have died from cancer.
As a matter of fact, there's a story on the website about a fellow,
Bob Kilduff?
Bob Kilduff, who
dear
said,
friend of mine.
"Don't be me," right?
Don't be me, that's
Yeah.
right.
Tell me about that if you could.
Bob was was a funny guy. Worked in the busy areas of the city for his whole career.
Boston, right?
Boston, correct. One of those gung-ho, hard-charging type of guys,
Yeah.
first one in, last one out. And he got cancer, but it was only because, you're going to love this, because his wife suggested he goes to a doctor.
Yeah.
And they found, cancer, and he died 5 years later.
Yeah.
But he was a union guy also, and he wrote the story, Don't Be Me, to urge people to get tested for cancer.
And is that the overall mission of Firefighters versus Cancer, is spread the word, early detection is key?
That's correct. And most everyone knows that anyway. And this, I mentioned something else. It's not necessarily limited to firefighters. I mean, everybody should do it. And the company we are partnering with, One Tester out of Gaithersburg, Maryland, we're going to buy kits from them and give them away to firefighters. That's what we're doing in Milton this Saturday.
Yeah.
The comedy show supports that effort to give the testing kits to them for free.
Yes, it's a clean Mother's Day clean comedy fundraiser
Bring the family.
to give free early cancer screening kits to the firefighters in Milton. So it's this coming Saturday, 6:15. Doors open. Show starts at 7 o'clock at Milton High School. Suzette, how did you get involved, first of all, with Firefighters versus Cancer? And then, second of all, why is this event so important?
I really got involved with Firefighters versus Cancer when Mike was hosting this search for America's Funniest Firefighters, and it was the New England Regional Contest at Florian Hall, and he asked me to be a judge.
Okay.
That's how I first got involved and exposed to the organization. And then later he asked me to blog for the website. And I've just been announced that I'm in remission now after 5 years of having lung cancer.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And so I felt like it was something that I really wanted to do. I wanted to be able to do my part to help save lives. I didn't realize what an extraordinarily high rate of exposure firefighters had. And that's how I initially got involved. This whole thing about the fundraiser for Milton firefighters was when we were talking about it, and the whole goal was to give these kits. And I just felt, well, how about if we do it for Milton? And so that's how that got started. And the community was very, very supportive, and the Milton Public Schools donated the venue to us for Saturday.
Nice, very
and
nice.
the Milton Women's Club gave a grant for it.
Okay. So tell me, Mike, maybe tell me a little bit about the test kits themselves, you know, what they are.
That's your area.
Oh,
She
okay.
knows more about
Okay.
it than I do.
All right. Okay.
Well, we were partnering with One Test, and their original demographic was firefighters.
Yeah.
But Amy Colton, who became the national sales manager, because she had her own cancer issues
Yeah.
and needed early testing, discovered One Test. And now she's there, and now she's a huge advocate and works as a national sales manager for One Test.
That's the name of it, One Test.
One Test.
ONE Test. Right?
Yes,
Okay.
and there's two kits, a standard and a premium. The standard screens for 7 or more cancers,
Yeah.
and the premiums test for those 7 cancers plus additional cancers, especially those for women, which
Oh.
are very specific to women.
Oh, okay.
And these, and so that's how and we felt like it was an affordable, very effective home test. And so we're giving those kind of kits for free
So
to the
I mean,
firefighters.
yeah, if these tests are available, why doesn't every single community in the country provide them for their fire departments?
Good question.
I think that it's a matter of getting the word out.
Yeah.
And when I interview firefighters,
Yeah.
it's interesting how many of the men say that it was their wives that nagged them into getting tested. And I think that there is a percentage that talks about how men who are married live longer, and I think it's because their spouses or their significant others are always looking out for their health and monitoring it. And many of them will say, if it weren't for my wife, I never would have gone.
Is that right? Was that the case, Mike, in your family?
No.
No.
My father died after he retired and wasn't diagnosed until he had already retired.
I see.
And my brother John, he just didn't believe in doctors.
Yeah.
And he had no one to push him. We tried, but no. He just,
Interesting. Yeah.
he smoked up until the day he died. Jeez.
Yeah, but the thing about occupational cancer is that the only thing they're doing wrong is going to work every day, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
This is
I'll give you another statistic that was mind-boggling. It was based on a narrow survey that was done in a Florida fire department. Of every 10,000 non-firefighter families, one child will get cancer. 1 out of 10,000 families. And 1 out of every 400 firefighter families will get cancer.
really.
So the children of firefighters are 27 times more likely to get cancer than non-firefighter families.
Now, is that because they follow in their footsteps of their predecessors?
No, it's the children before they're of age to
Yes.
do that. The firefighters are bringing the PFAS
I
and
see.
the chemicals home with them. And when you think about it, a child goes to the firehouse to see their mother or father. What's the first thing they do?
Sure, they want to see the
put the gear on, they put the helmet on,
Yeah.
they jump up in the fire engine and
Yeah.
get their picture taken. And
They're
that's
exposed to the.
so that's supposedly.
Interesting you bring that up here in Quincy. I don't know if you're familiar. The city invested in actually washing machines and dryers for the firehouses.
Yep.
For the firefighters to come back from a fire, immediately take off all that gear and wash it.
Yep.
And clean it and get it off of them. So is that something that you'd like to see more of?
Yeah, I think the PFAS that was added to the fire gear was to keep the firemen dry.
Right.
It was a water repellent.
Yeah.
And I guess there's been, Diane Carter is a friend of mine. She's the one that started this whole thing years ago. And I think a couple of states have already adopted laws that say you can't use the PFAS in the firefighter gear.
Okay.
So it'll take a while to catch on.
Yeah.
But it's like anything else.
So do you think firefighters are more willing to take a test at home, a blood test at home, than go to the doctor?
I think and that's one of the things I liked about one test
Yes.
is that you hand them the test and they just put it on their arm, and I guess you push a little button and it pierces the skin and collects a blood sample.
Okay.
And then it's sent back to the lab, and all of that, it's all done between you and your doctor.
Okay.
Yes.
There's no involvement with the fire department itself.
Yeah, so there's a privacy
Yep.
aspect
Yes,
of it as
it's
well.
like Cologuard. It works like that.
Yeah, okay.
It's a home test.
Okay.
And it's very fast and efficient. The results come in online, and then you can share it with your medical provider.
Let's talk about the event in Milton. This is going to come by Saturday. Doors open at 6:15. Show starts at 7. What's it all about? What's going to be happening in the Milton High School auditorium on Saturday night?
There's going to be 3 wonderful comedians.
Okay.
Carolyn Plummer, Will Noonan, and Tony V. It's going to be emceed by Patty Driscoll Gould, and it's going to be great. They're going to probably do 20-minute sets apiece, and they're just really great comedians, and it's going to be, laughs for a purpose. And we're just excited for the support that's going to be shown to the Milton firefighters by giving them these free tests.
A clean comedy show, it says.
A clean comedy show.
Because Mother's Day is the
yes.
next day, so-
Yes, and we want them to bring families and all of that.
Okay, all right. So how much do you hope to raise at this event?
hopefully enough to pay for the test kits.
Yeah, how much do they cost?
Well, they $200 each.
Okay. Oh, all right. So it's not an insignificant
No,
amount.
it's not.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
But we'll get there.
Yeah.
one
And there's
way or the other.
61 firefighters.
In Milton.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, about a $15,000
Yeah.
kind of expense, but
Yeah.
it's going to be so well worth it, and we're just really hoping that it catches on
Yeah.
and all of that.
And the bigger goal, obviously, is to draw attention to this issue, right?
Oh, correct.
Yeah.
And to
Right.
get
We will
folks to talk about it.
duplicate this down the road later on.
I wanted to ask you about that, Mike. If there's a community that's interested in going down this road, will Firefighters versus Cancer be able to help them?
Absolutely.
They will.
We'll do our very best to help them.
Yeah. What did it take, to get the organization up and running?
What did it take?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've sat in my computer for 3 years.
Right. No, seriously.
Pretty
right?
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so far it's been all, my idea, as you could call it. I'm
Yeah.
the founder, big
Yeah.
deal. But I tell people...
No, it is a big deal.
Well, anyone can found anything for whatever reason. But the key to any success I have with this is surrounding myself with people who know what they're doing and are willing to do it, which is why Suzette is here.
Right. But you're an author, right? You've written 2
Yes,
books
yes.
as well about being a firefighter in Boston.
Correct.
Yeah.
And oddly, they're available on our website, and you can buy them. It's connected to an Amazon link, and all the proceeds from the sale of those 2 books go directly to the foundation.
Super.
Yes.
But that's how you and Suzette came to be, right?
Exactly.
Formed a relationship
Yep.
through those books, right?
Yep.
Yes, he
Yeah.
was a guest on my TV show where I interviewed authors and learned about their books and their writing process.
Right.
And that was probably 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
And he
yeah.
wrote the book Busy as Hell. It captured a lot of stories from the Boston Fire Department during what they called the war years, 1960 through 1980, when they were insanely busy. And it's a very interesting book. And he also wrote Busy as Hell too.
It took a long time to come up with that title.
But there was something, Suzette, about reading those books that struck you, that struck a nerve, right, to form this relationship.
Yeah. I just loved his writing style, and I became and I think that I think firefighting is one industry where who could criticize them? They're such brave people, men and women, who run into this kind of catastrophe and ask nothing in return. It's such a beautiful field of service, and so when Mike asked me to get involved, why would I say no?
No-brainer, right?
It was a
Yeah.
no-brainer.
You mentioned women, Mike. I know that there are some significant women that are part of your organization, right?
Yes, they are.
That you should mention. Yeah.
We have Shantette Stallworth, a Boston firefighter. She's worked, I think she did 22 years on a fire company. Now she's in the arson squad. Deanna McDevitt is a district chief. I know her father really, really well. And she's the only woman to be promoted to district chief so far.
Wow.
And she's originally from Milton.
Okay.
Yep. And a friend of mine, Cora McHugh, she's a registered nurse, a long-time operating room nurse at the Faulkner Hospital.
Wow.
So she brings a different perspective, and she understands the medical stuff more than I do. I just ask her, what's that mean?
Yeah. Like you said, surround yourself with good people. right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, it's important. Quincy just got its very first female firefighter ever.
Really?
in the
Really?
department's history, yeah. Now the tests, Suzette, you mentioned there are specific tests that are more applicable to women?
Yes,
Okay.
because it's interesting to know that in the field of female firefighting,
Yeah.
they actually suffer through sterility, reproductive issues. That the cancers will affect them that way.
I see.
And so, and more studies are coming out about that.
Yeah.
So that's something that we really want to address. And the women and myself sit on the advisory board,
Yes.
and we keep track of all these kind of things and advise the organization on getting the word out, early detection, saving lives, and all of that. Everybody's very unified in that effort.
Sure. Tickets still available for Saturday night's
Yes.
event?
Yes.
Just show up.
Yes?
Yeah.
Pay at the door if you
Okay.
want. If
Pay
you
at
want.
the door. It's fine.
Okay.
Just show up. It's great.
Okay. Free parking?
A lot of parking at
Okay.
Milton High School.
Okay.
Yes.
All ages welcome?
Yes.
family-friendly events.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I think so, and it's just such a wonderful community effort.
Well, this is not the first time, Mike, you've delved into comedy when it comes to firefighters, right?
No, it isn't.
There was a search last year for the
America's Funniest
Firefighter.
We had 6 contestants, I believe,
Yes.
and the kid that won was from the Springfield Fire Department.
Oh, okay.
Chance
Took a $5,000
Seymour.
prize home with them, which was really. But they were all very, very good. But Chance Seymour, he kind of stuck out. He was,
Yeah.
he was just a little level high.
Very good.
it's
Yeah,
good.
who knew?
Yeah, exactly.
It was so entertaining, and Florian Hall was filled with people.
Perfect
It was
location for
wonderful.
it.
wa-
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
It was just hilarious. It was so hilarious
Yeah.
that night.
I wish you success.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thanks for
you,
having us.
Joe.
You're very welcome. Please let us know how it goes. We'll be happy to update
Yes,
folks.
absolutely.
All right.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Just enough time to check the forecast for you for the rest of the day today, really for the rest of the week. Kind of what you see is what you get. Could rain at any time. Temperatures in the mid-50s. A little warmer tomorrow with rain and maybe even some thunderstorms to make things interesting. Wednesday, so start out kind of cloudy with some rain in the afternoon. And then Thursday, maybe see a peak of sun, but then more rain. Thanks again to Mike Foley and Suzette Strandrum.
Thanks for inviting us.
Thank you.
Appreciate
You're
it.
very welcome. Thanks to our crew. Thank you for watching. Friday here in the program, we'll learn about this year's Quincy Multicultural Festival. Meantime, please check our website. It's qatv.org. You'll find all of our latest programs. There's news and information, video on demand, live streaming, much more. For all of us here at QATV, I'm Joe Catalano. Have a great week.